Hey guys, so in this video I am making this video because I ran into this problem. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's say you just added a new SSD, a new storage drive on your PC, and you bring up the disk management, and then all of a sudden, yeah, I already know about my disk 0 and my disk 1, but hey, what about the new one that I connected? It's not there. So like I'm expecting it to be right here. So this is just an example picture that I grabbed from the internet, and this is what was happening to me. This is what was happening to me. And lo and behold, when I did the right thing, now this is my actual disk management on my computer. Now the disk 0, disk 1, disk 2, this can change depending on priorities of your motherboard. But now I have this one here that originally was not being able to view. So I wanted to show you guys how I figured this out. First things first, I started entering my motherboard information into Google and typed something along the lines of, hey, this is my motherboard. It's using up the M2 slots, but it's not picking up the newly added SSD. So if you do a little research on Google, you'll be able to find almost all the issues here. But before I show you the issue here that thankfully somebody on Reddit told me about, I'm going to show you my motherboard. So this is the motherboard that I have. It's a Asus ROG Strix B550F gaming motherboard, and see what has happened is, as you can see, um, here, let's see if I can show you this. But right here, where my little mouse is, I do apologize. There's a M2 SSD, M2 SSD that I have installed here. So this is my C drive where my operating system is, and then this is the secondary or another M2 M.2 SSD that I also was using. So if I were to go into my this computer here, these are my two guys right here. You see, they're right there, my C drive, and you can see why I'm adding a new SSD is because I'm running out of space on this computer. So the reason on this particular motherboard, if you're using this M2 and this M2 as well, then let's see if I can show you another picture of the actual SATA. Let's see if I can find. Here we are. This one should work here. So I'm going to zoom in here, but you see this is the 6 SATA drive. So what happened on this particular motherboard, I was plugging my newly added SSD into 5 and 6. SATA 5 and 6. So this is all labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 SATA here. So by bad luck, and also good luck, because if you come across this issue, or if you have a similar motherboard that behaves this way, what happens is if when you're using this M2 and this another M2, this disables the SATA ports here on your motherboard. So that's why it wasn't initially being able to be picked up. So the reason I even discovered that was because, hey, I went to Google and I typed this person had the same issue as mine. SATA problem is not picking up. And if you read the comments here, this person says, did you read the manual? It states that if you install the two M2 drives, which I pointed out, which currently on my computer it is being used, then the SATA 5 and SATA 6 are actually disabled. And then there's somebody that actually provided a more elaborate answer, and then they point out here exactly the same thing, that SATA 5 and SATA 6. So that's how I managed to go from this, where I installed my SSD and I was freaking out like, hey, where's my SSD? It's not being picked up here in disk management, to going to my actual disk management here, where now I have this. So this is my new, so this is disk one. It has my healthy OS on it, which is almost maxed out, and this is the recently one. So I'm going to go ahead. That's how you fix this particular solution. Make sure you do some Google research. Look at your motherboard's manual. They could tell you that in some cases certain SATA ports or some ports may be disabled if you're using other related ports as well. In this case, the M2 SSD. So on the motherboard. So I'm going to go ahead. So I want to make use of this. So you can see right now I only have 2 hard drives. I'm going to right click on here. I'm going to say new simple volume. I'm going to hit next here. I'm going to use all the space here. So I'm going to max this out. Click here. Make sure this is the maximum disk space. I'm using the maximum disk space. I hit next. I can assign a drive letter. I forgot. So let me see. I was using. Let me just cancel this real quick. So I was using C drive, P drive. So I'm going to go logically with the next letter after P. So go back into the wizard here, leave it this as it is, hit next. Set instead of P, I am going to go with QRSTU. Oh, PQRSTMNOPQ. Sorry, guys. Q is the next letter that again, you can pick whatever letter you want, but I want to go PQRST, onwards. So I'm going to set that to Q here. Hit next. You can set it to whatever you want. I'm going to call this. Extra storage. So I'm going to leave it as NTFS. I'm going to leave the allocation unit size default. I'm going to say extra space use me or use it. Use it. There we go. So I'm going to leave it at perform quick format. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to say this is just a review of what we selected. I'm going to hit finish. And there it is. It's doing its work. And now I have access to this. Now this is my Q drive, and if I go back into this computer, now you can see that I have a Q drive here as opposed to just having the two drives. Now I have more storage to install more games and do more FPS tests and whatnot. But there you go. To show you that it works, I can create a folder, and there you go. I can go inside the folder, create a compressed file, and there you go. So that's it, guys. I just showed you how you can go from hey, I installed a third one, it wasn't popping up, which namely was looking like this, like, oh, I just turned on my computer, I installed an SSD. Where is it? Well, read up on your motherboard, do a little Google research, use Reddit, use your tools, and lo and behold, make sure you use the right activated SATA. My next step, if I didn't come across this article, was to try these other ports. I have 6 SATA ports. I would have tried the other ones to eventually find one that works. But hey, now you know that it depends sometimes on your motherboard. Some things get disabled if you're using other storage spaces. And that's it for this video. Let me know if this was helpful for you. And I know it's a lot of information, but hopefully you got the idea. If you have more questions, let me know in the video comments. Thanks for supporting me, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Be blessed and goodbye.